On this week's TWIOCH, we talk about random things like Crackdown and fake news, and not that much because it's a skinny news week.
But we do debate whether or not Dragon Quest is a first-person game.
We do.
This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick, and here is Kevin, the only person who tweets at Edward McMillan more than anybody else, and only half of those are harder, Daddy. Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads, the weekly gaming show where we give you gaming news and summarize basically what you should be keeping up with if you didn't watch our show. But since you're watching or listening to our show, you can just listen to our show and just keep up to date.
Just don't change anything and you're set.
Yeah, we do the hard work for you so you know what important things are happening in your gaming life. Starting out, usually we start out with backwards compatible games. I got a Mr. Meeseeks, by the way, if you're watching live or if you're watching on YouTube. We usually start out with backwards compatible games. I didn't see backwards compatible this, but we do have Doom.
There's an AC one.
Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry.
Yeah,
which is going to be on the Xbox Games with Gold. So starting out with the Games with Gold, we got Slime Rancher, which I don't know a lot about.
I was hoping that it would be like a farm spin-off of Dragon Quest.
Okay.
And it's definitely not. It's a shooter.
We also have Bayonetta, which I'm a big fan of.
Bayonetta's awesome.
It's a fun game. Maybe supervise your kids depending on their age and how close they are to puberty. The subject matter is interesting as well in this because you're technically playing on the side of Satan and demons.
Yeah.
And you're killing angels, but it works for the story. We also got Trials Fusion, which I love these games. They're ridiculous and fun. And
Trials Fusion is not the best regarded of the series,
yeah.
But the Trials games
yes.
are pretty consistently above the average.
Yeah, I hadn't played this one, so spoilers. Apparently, it may not be as good as the other ones. We also got Red Faction Armageddon, which I'm excited to play because I absolutely love. We do. Red Faction Guerrilla Warfare. I've heard, and I'll tell you guys in the review if this is true, I've heard that this one doesn't have the building destruction and ridiculousness of the previous. I don't know if that's true.
But the building destruction and the ridiculous was what made that so awesome.
Yeah, I toppled small buildings to kill the enemy instead of...
Yeah, it's great. It's like... I could go up there and fight those really strong guys, or I could knock the pillars out from underneath them. It's just wonderful.
Or, there's a door and there's a guy guarding the door, and you're like, sledgehammer through, and then just hit him with the sledgehammer.
Yeah.
So
it's okay. The totes. We're not going to do it this week because we want to get your feedback on this. But the totes for next week, I'm going to go ahead and announce right now.
Okay.
Is basic weapons. Like shooters, a lot of times they give you like some weapon with infinite ammo or something.
And
best default weapons.
Okay. Yeah,
because the sledgehammer is absolutely on that list.
That's
spoilers for next week because it's great.
That's probably the best one. We also got the PlayStation Plus free games as well announced all at the same time. Starting out with Just Cause 3 for PS4.
And I know you really enjoyed Just Cause 2, but did you get a chance to play much?
I haven't played Just Cause 3.
At all?
No, I've watched my nephew play it.
But you loved Just Cause 2.
I know. Well, so many other games were out. I couldn't justify buying it and putting it on the shelf.
Okay.
Sometimes I do that, but... I didn't in this case. I have watched my nephew play this, even though it's inappropriate. But he absolutely loves it. It's even more over the top than Just Cause 2. Mm-hmm. We also got Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, which was a DLC.
I thought that was the Vita one.
No, this is for PS4. Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry was DLC for, I believe, Black Flag. Okay. And then they created it as a standalone.
All right, so it is still piratey though.
It is piratey. I don't know how.
We'll see.
Goes.
We'll see.
I know that it involves former slaves, possibly. So because of the freedoms, which is good. We also got Super Motherload, which
it's definitely a game.
It's definitely a game. Snake Ball, which is definitely a game as well. I'm really hopeful, and I'm curious to see what happens on that because I'm playing both of these.
Yeah.
We also got Downwell.
Yeah, which I bought when it first came out, and that's the rocket boots game.
Yes.
Where you're falling, and it's ridiculous and crazy. I really like the bonuses for not touching the ground, and like it encourages you to play super risky.
Okay.
And I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
So,
we also got Level 22, which I've seen some gameplay of it. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's like a comic strip game that you can hide in some of the panel. I don't know. But I mean, I'll be playing it, I will let you know.
Yeah, so we'll let you guys know about those during our Gold Plus Roundup, which is our review show we do every month, reviewing every single one of these free games to let you know which ones are worth your time. We try to get that out as early as possible. It'll be out, I think it's August 21st or so at this point. We try to get them out early because Xbox releases ones on the 16th. It's hard to get those out early. I'd like to have them out at the beginning of the month, but unfortunately time and money and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
We did get some news about Lost Sphere. So Lost Sphere is actually coming to the West in January, which this is the I'm Setsuna developers.
Right. This is it's still part of the Setsuna project by Tokyo RPG Factory, and so this is going to be some of the same teams, some of the devs and everything. It looks really pretty.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the old school RPG type stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not action RPG, but it is, running around and you've got your party and you've got your battles and towns, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I love how this is taking from what I've seen. It's taking so many things, like you said, out of the old school like 16-bit era RPG and giving it, the love that it needs. Like if you were making that nowadays, if that was a new gaming genre, like how would game developers work with that? And the camera angles that are used in here and everything are just gorgeous. Keeping with the old school.
I think it's different than creating a new genre. This is taking what was good from the old and just updating.
Oh yeah, because it was a new genre.
Yeah, there have been a lot of advances in gameplay and stuff, and that's why sometimes when we have backwards compatible games, finally found that, by the way, it's Tomb Raider Underworld.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, so like advances in games. That's why sometimes when you go back to old games, it can be awkward to play them and stuff. Even if it was influential at the time, sure. Games as a whole move on.
Yeah.
It also makes me happy because this is the second game from Tokyo RPG Factory. Mm-hmm. It's the second game coming west, which is good because when this idea first cropped up, a lot of us here in the U.S. who love and buy these games were like, we want those, please bring them over here. And Square Enix goes and just sits there, does not respond to anyone, does not announce anything, doesn't say anything. It's like, come on.
Especially with
we want take my money.
The localization in regards to translation, people have shown that it's not that time consuming and doesn't take that much money.
And especially if you're doing digital releases.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. We're now in an era you can just digitally release anything everywhere. I hate saying this, but this is kind of how the way the world is. Just make whatever your local language is, and then make an English version. Yeah. Because most of the country, most of the world, no matter where you release it, if you release an English version, they're going to be able to play it, and they're going to be fine with it. The people who are playing these games almost all speak English. Yeah. So if it's out in Japan, just budget for an English version as well. Release that everywhere. You don't have to do one in Spanish and Portuguese and French and all these other, which would be great, but Portuguese would cost you more money because of Brazil. But
yeah. Okay, so there's a game that came out this past week called This Is Spring or Here Comes Spring or something on Vita, and the two language options are English and Russian.
Okay. Is it set in Russia?
No.
Okay.
It's a Russian developer, though,
but
which I thought was cool.
But that's exactly what I'm talking about.
That game is terrifying.
Make it in Russian and whatever your local language is, Russian and then English. That's it.
Yeah, like that game is scary as heck. Like everything in the game has faces and they're sitting there staring at you the entire time.
That's cool.
And it's mildly educational and it has an autoplay option from the front screen. It's weird. It's weird and it's fun. And thank you to Blue Maxima for pointing that out to me.
That's awesome.
Because that game is terrifying.
That's awesome. We did get some fake news this week, which it's slight fake news because everyone gravitated towards it like nobody's business. Anything Rockstar, people just lose their minds on if there's a possible leak.
Okay.
And the actor Tim Neff, who worked on Grand Theft Auto 5, there was his resume allegedly got updated. Someone updated IMDb, and saying that he was working on Grand Theft Auto 6.
Right.
He's not.
No.
So. Unless Rockstar announces it, unless Rockstar announces it or Blizzard announces whatever they're doing, I'm just like, no, they keep their secrets well enough that I don't believe when I see leaks until I get confirmation.
And Take-Two and Rockstar North in particular are amazing at the way that they're able to release stuff. Like if other developers released stuff the way they do and had that level of hype, like it would be amazing. Because when GTA 5 was coming out, they would give us like, hey, here's 3 pictures, and the internet goes nuts, and it's like, look at the thing in the corner, and
I bet this is related to Liberty City because of this. Look at that Skyway, and
so GTA 6 will come out when it comes out.
Yeah,
and I mean, I can't really say that we'll play it because I still haven't played 5.
I will. I mean, Rockstar said the same thing that Bethesda said regarding Elder Scrolls 6. Not working on it. We got other things we're working on.
That's not
that
is
may
also
not be
fake
true.
news.
That may not be true, but they're saying they're not working on it, which means they're either really, really early in development, and they don't want to, they don't want to announce it and then be like, hey, that game's coming out in 5 years.
So those statements can be true.
Yes.
And so the person who typed that, when he said we, he meant himself. And his immediate family. They were not working on GTA 6. That statement remains true.
I guarantee both of those games are in development
Absolutely.
right now.
Absolutely.
Because the long cook time that it takes with these games, they don't want to talk about it right now because what they would do is they would tell you something that would not be in the final product, and everyone would lose their minds.
Yeah, and
that way.
You don't want to have. One, you don't want to have that kind of pressure on your developers. You want your artists and designers to be free to design what works.
Yeah.
And when you put it into the game, when you put it into the code, it needs to be able to work.
Yeah.
And then secondly, as far as mindshare, you want people to be talking about games that they can actually get that are imminent.
Yes.
That works a lot better.
Yeah.
A la Fallout 4. So yeah.
Fallout New Vegas is better. Speaking of games that people love and want to play,
Tandem Cannon's going to be excited because they love Sims.
Sims 4 is coming to console, which I have never been a fan of the Sims on console. I've tried a couple. I don't know. I just don't like the way that it feels. It's not as bad as trying to play like trying to play like a strategy game like StarCraft on a console. Is horrible. But this is one that I don't know. It just never felt right to me.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how the gameplay will work in this. But Sims is fantastic. One of my favorite things to do in Sims that I used to do back in the day, back in Sims 2 and a little bit of 3. You can play.
Were you a ladder stealer?
Kind of. I would play a kind of like Survivor.
Okay.
With them. Where they'd all be put into a situation like in a pool with no ladder, and then if one of them dies, then you pause, you pull all of them out because these are the people who continue to the next trial. And
okay, so the first one to die in the pool loses.
Yes, and then you put them all into little apartments that you've made, which are all the same, and they have a bed and a hamster wheel, and that's it. And I think they have a fridge, but you only put a couple things in there. If anyone dies in there, they lose obviously as well.
Right.
But 24 hours of that, then you throw them into another trial, over and over and over and over again, and you see who
until
who
you
wins.
have the strongest sim possible,
Exactly.
and then you send them out to take over the world.
Yes.
It is also fun. So this is coming to Xbox and I believe PS4. I don't remember whether that was announced yet, but it's EA. It's coming to all the consoles.
It is.
And if they can manage, they'll put it on Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
The other cool thing about this is that it includes all the DLC, which EA and Maxis tend to be kind of like they'll start off with the main game and then they'll here's this for $1, here's this for $5, and like slowly leak it out. But this game has been out long enough that I think this is going to be the content complete version of The Sims 4. So that'll be coming out in November, and you can play that to your heart's content.
The Sims is the worst with the like. Here's $10 for the new outfit pack #2, and people would buy them. I bought them for Whitney.
And this like has been around since like Sims 2. Like it did mobile gaming strategy before mobile gaming was a thing.
Yeah, you had $5, $10, $15 packs. You'd go into Best Buy and add the DLC, which was Now I didn't mind the ones where it's like the nightlife one. It added outfits, but it also added like clubs.
If you're adding content,
and it was actually adding content other than
adding
just skins.
babies.
Yeah.
Which
that's a different
babies
story.
are hard enough in real life. I don't know why you would want to pretend. I don't get that one. But not every game is for me, and that's okay.
I mean, I guess if you put in the cheat codes so that way you don't have to like go to work. Because otherwise, I don't see how to do that. Like I never did it.
Well, they can
with
survive
babies.
for at least 45 minutes on their own.
Yeah, but you have to go to work, and Sims take 45 minutes to walk from the outside from their car house to the car.
To what? Like
the car to pick you up for work. It's like beep beep, and you're like, oh, gotta put my dishes down.
Yeah.
Gotta turn around now.
This tells you how much I haven't played Sims. It never occurred to me that there's a clock at all.
There's a clock.
I mean,
work,
it makes sense, and because it's simulating real life.
Unless you throw in cheat codes, like I said, throw in the money codes, and then just play like a millionaire and have a big house that you decorate however you want. Like you have to go to work.
But I mean, even if you put in a real life millionaire code, like a lottery millionaire code,
which they do.
You still couldn't pre-order a Super Nintendo and actually get it.
No, unfortunately,
because Walmart canceled all of their and I kind of thought this was going to happen because pre-orders were live on Walmart for the Super NES Classic for like 2 hours.
Yep.
And like no Nintendo product stays up for 2 hours. I mean, the Switch came out like 5 months ago, and just now it's reaching the point where it'll be up for about 45 minutes,
and then it's done. This was a mistake. This was a mistake on Walmart's part. From who I've talked to, who's in retail, Nintendo doesn't tell you what they're sending you. Mm-hmm. They send you the things, and you sell the things. Yeah. You just wait for that, and that's it. So Walmart didn't know. I guarantee Walmart didn't know how many SNESes it was getting in total. It may have gotten a rough estimate, maybe,
but
GameStop doesn't have an estimate.
No.
So all your retailers, they're like, okay, I'm gonna get between 1 and 8, maybe.
Yeah,
that's
it's
it.
Gonna be pretty bad.
So I'm going, and I guarantee they're not gonna let me buy more than one. I'm gonna go. I'm taking a half day and buying a Super Nintendo Classic, but I can't guarantee that I'm even going to get it, even though I'm going to get there 2 hours before the store opens, because 3 or 4 people are probably going to get there 6 hours before the store opens.
Yeah, and this is I don't get it.
Yeah,
but anyway, so a lot of people, and the way that they rolled this out was also wildly inconsistent, because some people got an email from Walmart like the day after. Yeah. Some people waited like a full week before they got if obviously this was an error on their part. Yes. There should have been just a mass email to everybody who pre-ordered one and been like, we're sorry, you're not getting this thing.
It's exactly what it should have been.
And that did not happen.
Yeah.
And so that's disappointing.
It surprises me because Walmart is the king of logistics.
Yeah.
They're more than a retailer. They are a shipping and logistics
and efficiency.
It's amazing. That's why Walmart sells other than loss leaders. But that's why everything sells for so cheap at Walmart, because they've gotten so efficient when it comes to shipping.
Yeah.
And
they're
it surprised me they would.
And they just do bulk and reduce margins. And
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. Also fascinating, if you have a chance, research their origin, because when they were having their initial planning meeting on how we're going to do this, during that meeting, news of the stock market crash that created the Great Depression broke.
I didn't know that.
And they were, or maybe not the Great Depression, but it was like a substantial crash that occurred during the meeting, and they brought in the news to the meeting, and we're like, we can still do this. And that's kind of amazing.
That's awesome.
Speaking of potentially broken things, Crackdown 3 is coming out this fall.
Yep.
And they just got a new writer.
Yeah, that spells trouble. That spells big time trouble.
This game...
I love Crackdown. I loved Crackdown
And I love Terry Crews.
I do too. But if you're this close and you just now bring in... It's got to be someone who's coming in to do some polishing. It has to be. You're way too close for this game to have a complete overhaul in regards to the story. I guarantee whoever that this writer is coming in to tighten up dialogue and maybe order of missions or something to make it more cohesive.
Yeah.
There's no way they're like, oh, we're going to do a new story.
We need
3 months away.
This is but even doing like cleanup work, doing a rework of the script, even that at this point is
oh yeah,
not a good sign.
That guy better be ready.
So this is John Goff, who worked on Spawn.
Yeah,
I thought it was Jeff Johns, the DC guy, and I was like, okay, if you're doing that
Image, but
then delay it for another year and let me.
Oh yeah,
which his picture with the rings is still one of my favorites ever.
If anybody can do this, it's a comic book writer, because these guys have to write so quickly. They have to come up with a story, flesh it out, and actually get it applied, write.
Yeah.
So quickly, and they're working on so many projects, all at the same time. If anybody can do it, I think he can. But this really parallels, in my opinion, what's happening with Justice League for DC. I don't know how much you followed that, because I know you haven't watched like trailers and everything.
Right.
For Justice
League. Or the previous movie.
Yeah. You didn't watch Batman vs Superman?
I haven't watched anything for like a year and a half.
Well, Wonder Woman's really good in it, and the Wonder Woman movie is good.
Also, Guardians of the Galaxy.
How have you done?
Star Wars Rogue One from last year. I don't have time to watch movies. That's why I rely on you and our own channel to tell me what's good in movies.
Okay, well, Rogue One is pretty cool.
And it's on Netflix now.
So with
So
Justice League,
we will definitely talk about that.
Well, just very quickly, Justice League. Zack Snyder stepped down from directing.
Yay! I know that's good.
Yes, but the bad news is because his daughter committed suicide.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, she committed suicide. And it was kind of left quiet in the news, and then he said, you know what, I'm struggling, and it was just like a month and a half, 2 months after. He's like, I've not been able to cope with this. I can't. I still need to process this. Yeah. So he stepped down, and Joss Whedon came in. So Joss Whedon is doing all the reshoots that were already planned anyways, because everyone's like, oh my god, he's changing everything. They already had 6 weeks worth of reshoots planned. That's a bad sign, by the way. Reshoots are usually maybe 2 weeks to 3. Yeah. It's I didn't get that angle.
I did hear about the digital mustache stuff.
Yeah, and because Henry Cavill's contract for his other movie, for Mission Impossible, says he has to have his mustache. So because of that, he has to keep his mustache. They're going to digitally remove the mustache, but Joss Whedon is coming in to do at least 6 weeks, if not more, of reshoots, re-editing, and everyone's worried that he's going to mess up the dialogue. And
have you heard about the other Wonder Woman movie that's coming out this year?
I have. The Wonder Woman.
Yeah, yes. I want to watch that.
Yeah. By the way, the background is Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Sorry, I didn't see you in the chat. Will they make it? It was on the PS2. I missed the question about third-person view of PS2. I believe you're talking about Sims. I'm hoping
that'd be Crackdown.
Oh, Crackdown.
And Crackdown wasn't on the PS2.
Well, was he talking about that?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know.
We'll see. Sorry, we're trying to watch the chat while we go, but yeah. So August 31st in the UK, the PlayStation Plus price is going to go up by 25%.
Yeah.
It's still a bargain.
It's going up even more in Australia and a few other places, but yeah, it's still a bargain. I mean,
like whenever I a couple years ago, Netflix was like, "We're gonna bump your price up to $10." I thought, I wasn't paying $10. Like it's so low, and you get so much for it that it's like
Yeah, I'm completely fine with it. If they bumped it in the U.S., I'd be fine with it. The amount of free games. Okay, well, the free games are still worth the value. What I'm hoping
and
is
it's also an investment, and when they make changes like this, when they bump the price like this, it is to create new infrastructure.
Yes.
Like there's margin somewhere, they're going to make a profit off of this or whatever. It's not a one-to-one deflection, but it is an investment or maintenance of support that they are currently giving. Yeah. And if they didn't do this, then they would probably have to cut corners somewhere and more losses as far as matches go, and you'd be playing on Nintendo.
I don't want servers to be crashing like Nintendo. Someone pointed out on Reddit and a few other places saying that that Sony was denouncing this because they knew how much the Emoji Movie was going to be losing. Because the Emoji Movie is 0% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 2% on IMDb, and it's getting the worst reviews. It's worse than the Justin Bieber movie.
Is that the
Sony's?
And it's by Sony?
Yeah, Sony's doing some producing.
I could not make the connection there. I thought you were saying that there's a failing movie, and so Sony's going to bump up a price. I was
Sony was involved in that too. It is, from what I've heard, it's freaking horrible. And I mean, I'll end up probably watching it just to watch it. I watched the Trolls movie. The Trolls movie actually wasn't bad. I went into it thinking it was going to be atrocious, but this movie, come on, even Patrick Stewart can't save this movie. Patrick Stewart plays poop.
I know.
And as funny as that is,
it's
horrible.
Speaking of horrible things, Danganronpa 3 is not coming to South Korea. Mm-hmm. So those of you who haven't played Danganronpa, it's a lot of kids running around and murdering each other for a psycho bear.
Like you do.
Which, maybe people shouldn't be playing that or whatever. But like, the previous Danganronpa titles were actually rated AO, or the equivalent in South Korea. And it's like, yes, children are not supposed to be playing that. And I mean, if the rating system worked the way it was supposed to, then they wouldn't be able to get a hold of this game in its mature version. Yeah. And yes, this is an objectively terrifying and psychopathic game. Yeah. I love it because
I'm an adult. I can handle that.
Yeah, and also it also removes me from what I experienced in real life and asks me difficult questions. I really enjoy that. Like, I'm not going to be in these situations. I'm not going to be in a high school where I have to kill somebody to leave.
Hopefully not.
But, well, I mean, I graduated high school. I don't have to go back.
You did, but that doesn't mean someone couldn't kidnap you and put you into
a high school?
Into an abandoned high school with all kinds of traps and puzzles that you have to figure out.
It seems unlikely.
Saw 9? I don't know. Well, that doesn't exist.
No, because this next one's going to be the last one. Like, this is the finale. Did they?
Yeah.
I haven't paid attention to the Saw movies since Carrie-O was limped out.
Yeah, he limped back in.
What? All right, so sometime
spoilers.
Okay. At some point, we're gonna have like a segment, and Patrick's going to catch me up on all the movies that have come out that I didn't watch.
3 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Carrie always came back because he limped out.
Okay.
Survived.
Right. Well, yeah, because he's the Man in Black.
In Saw? No. He limped out.
Carrie-O is the man.
He limped out, became an author talking about Jigsaw and he was part of a Jigsaw survivors supporter group. But the twist was he's been working with Jigsaw the whole time. after that, it changed him. Kind of the same thing that happened with
which was
the girl in the
Jigsaw's
second.
intent originally.
Yes, that's always been his intent, is to make you appreciate your life and realize
or kill you.
Well, you technically end up killing yourself if you don't do what you're supposed to do. The only times that they're non-winnable traps were when he didn't actually make them. But Carrie always got out and started working with Jigsaw, which is why you have so many surgical things that are in 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, where it's like, oh, there's a key behind someone's eye. Okay, how did, different things like that.
Yeah, because I can't put a key behind someone's eye.
Carrie always was actually the helping him and being his surgeon, so he was going to take over. But it's supposed to not be in this one. I don't understand that. Because he's the only one left. So, oh well.
All right. So, speaking of things that we don't know about personally.
Yeah.
Pokemon
Go.
Chat.
Pokemon Go has even more negative crap coming out. In regards to the Pokemon Go Fest, we now have lawsuits of people who feel like they were completely ripped off by them and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
This does not work.
And so that's a thing that happened, and so now they're looking to sue basically for travel expenses.
Yeah.
Because and we've heard about Garfep from IGN went on his own dime, and he was like, when it worked, it was really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but when did it work? And he was like, a third of the time it was when it was working, it was wonderful. And it was like, I mean, cool, if you have people, and there were people traveling from all over because they pitched this as, this is a massive thing, let's do this thing, and it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
But if you can't implement it, and people have put their own money into this, there's no profit or whatever, and so, yeah.
How can you not let them give you their money? Seriously, Niantic. I mean, I watched YouTubers who are flying in from like the UK.
Yeah.
Some on their own dime. A handful that were larger YouTubers that Niantic said, "Hey, we'll pay for your airfare or to get you out there."
Yeah.
And they got there, and every single one that I've watched said it wasn't any different for me than anybody else, because people think, oh well, maybe they gave you special treatment. He's like, no, the servers crashed.
The servers crash and cell towers can't connect. Nobody gets special treatment on that.
Nope, no one gets special treatment. There were a handful of Wi-Fi hotspots that didn't work properly because it was a complete wreck, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it was this big and that it bombed this hard.
I would be interested. Like, there's no way to collect this data, but I wish there was. I would love to know percentages and which carriers handled it best.
Oh yeah.
And which carriers had the highest bumps, percentage wise versus they're not going to let me have that information.
You'd have to have every carrier would have to come out with the information in the same metrics, in the same timetable.
Yep.
And then we could compare.
And with the same amount of back data.
Yeah.
To compare
they're not
to a normal weekend. Yeah.
One of them will come out and be like, guess what? Pokemon Go Fest sucked, but AT&T didn't as much.
And if that had happened, they would have said something.
Yeah.
But apparently it sucked for everyone.
Because everyone's sharing cell towers.
Well, and then on top of that, if you a lot of the Metro PCS and the Verizon Boost and the Click or whatever, all these different ones, a lot of them are just renting cell tower usage. So if the big three go down, everybody else is still screwed.
Most, I would say, even if I'm on Verizon, and I know that Verizon and AT&T piggyback off each other's cell towers all the time. They have their own contracts where they're just whatever. So I'm piggybacking off an AT&T cell tower a lot, and it's fine.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. They don't throttle me or anything, but you're right. All of the others are leasing bandwidth off of it if you even count it as bandwidth.
Yeah.
Either way, no one's gonna come out and say anything because I don't think they want to be associated with Pokemon Go. Even if they were the ones who did the best, they don't want for people to associate them with Pokemon Go.
Yeah. But things that we are excited about. How much Dragon Quest have you played?
I played the Vita game, and I've watched other people play the other ones. Yeah. That's it.
Oh, okay.
But Dragon Quest...
Dragon Quest 11 is echoes of an elusive age, and this looks fun.
Yeah,
like it's pretty, and it's wonderful, and it's slimes,
and this is...
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I love the world. I love the combination where it's like, all right, yeah, it's quirky anime stuff, but at the same time, it feels real.
Yeah.
Like everything feels... other than the slimes that are bouncing around, like the grass and the rock formations and everything, and the stairs there, like they feel real. It feels lived in. It doesn't look as clean and polished, and that horse looks awesome too. So this will be coming out in was it January? They didn't even announce it, did they?
No, they've just said that it's coming west.
Yeah, which I'm
which is fine, and I'm glad that they've continued to maintain. That they've continued to maintain this IP.
Yeah,
because it's a lot of fun.
It is a fun one. I think that Dragon Quest is one of those titles that doesn't get enough love over here. And every time the new one comes out, I'm like, hey, maybe this will be the one that everyone like attaches to, because
I mean that kind of happened with Persona, and it does happen sometimes.
It does.
Yeah,
it did happen with Persona. I've just been waiting for that to happen with Dragon Quest, and I'm sure someone's going to say 10 or whatever, had a bigger bump, but I haven't really seen it.
It hasn't gone mainstream.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy.
It does though continue to gain new supporters and new followers and new people who hadn't experienced it before, and I'm really appreciative that even after Square and Enix merged like however long ago, that they kept these separate. That they're different IPs, and they didn't try to like shove it into Final Fantasy, which, because I don't like the way Final Fantasy has gone, Dragon Quest has stayed a lot closer to its roots, and I appreciate that.
Stayed closer to its roots, even though it has like, I don't know, it just seems like they're adapting in a very positive way to the new platforms, as opposed to trying to shoehorn in a lot of their old ways into the.
No, they're doing a good balance of adapting what they had before and improving it based on what happens now.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be sad when Final Fantasy VII's remake outsells like Final Fantasy 13.
Why would that be sad?
Because they can't, like they did 7. Okay, I know people like 8 and 9 and 10, but ever since then,
you had me until 10.
I'm just saying, some people, not you.
Yes. 8 and 9 are
8 and 9 are great games. I remember
and better than 7.
I don't think so. Having gone back and played both 8 and 7, 7's more fun. But the only problem is the jump in graphics that 8 took, and I think that I played the heck out of 7 and 8. 9, it just didn't click with me. And I have not played that game since shortly after it came out, so I need to give it another view. I know that.
Yeah.
It just was not what I wanted.
So the PC version has a feature, as well as Final Fantasy 12 for the PS4, the Zodiac Age, the remake. Yeah. They have a new feature where you can fast forward battles.
Oh, okay.
And that sounds awesome.
Well, yeah. So if you're going through battles that so you can fast forward through them. So does your characters complete, or does it just?
Yeah, your characters just kind of auto attack and do like basic attacks.
I'm fine with that, because a lot of times I do that because I'm saving whatever.
Like when you're grinding or whatever. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because a lot of times I save. I do the same thing with Dark Souls and Demon Souls, where if I'm going through trash mobs, I'm not using magic. I'm playing conservatively, but I'm just hacking through because I want to save those fire bombs. I want to save those spells. I want to save my MP in Final Fantasy for when some big boss comes out that I didn't know was going to come out. That's when I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
So very happy about that. We started a while back recommending a YouTube channel.
We did.
And we're going to be doing that because we didn't do it for a while. But
we have lots of ideas that we drop
we do. We're like, hey, that'd be cool. So this week's recommendation is Wrestle Talk News. because if you like wrestling or if you just want to keep up with wrestling, these guys are great. They're from the UK. They're funny. They give you really quick rundowns of like summaries of what happened on SmackDown versus Raw. They give you rundowns of and rumors of things that are coming out, leaks that come out about storylines that might be changing and everything. Obviously, the guy is very animated as well, which keeps it going. The jump cuts get crazy, but it's good. They also keep track of a lot of the politics, kind of like what we do for games. They do for wrestling. So one of the recent things that came out was in regards to the Hardy Boys. A couple months ago came back to WWE, and they had a gimmick that they were using in their previous wrestling organization, which was huge. The broken Matt Hardy gimmick was just huge, and they came over to WWE, and there's still a lawsuit going on where they're like, lawyers talking where they're like, you can't use this. And Matt Hardy saying, I invented it, and the people at the organization saying, well, anything you invent while you're here is ours. Right. So that's all going on.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, so they go through these things.
Okay, so in a pretend show about drama, the actual drama that's under the real drama, but on top of the fake drama, Okay, yeah, I'm going to check out this channel.
It's really cool. Other thing I like is if something botches and goes the wrong way, and I don't mean like people get injured, though they do. I mean like, oh, that ending wasn't supposed to happen the way it does. So if they find out about that, they'll talk about that as well, where they're like, oh, the ending didn't quite work out this way.
That's cool.
It's really cool. The episodes are really short as well, so let's say you're really busy, you don't have, the 5 hours to keep up with all of the wrestling from just WWE. They do talk about other organizations as well, but they keep you up to date in a very quick way. Like their rundowns of Raw and SmackDown are like 4 or 5 minutes each. So it's a 2-hour show. They're just gonna like plow through what the stuff that you like, and then they give their rating of what they felt, how they felt the show went, and then they get the viewers to vote in what they think. So it's very feedback oriented. I like it. I really recommend it if you want to stay up to date with wrestling, or if you just want to hear some of the weird behind the scenes stuff going on. Yeah.
Well, cool.
Anyways, that's it for the gaming news this week. Let us know what you think in the comments about all that news, and whether you have stopped or started to watch wrestling this year or last year. Let us know. We'll see you later.